this is Trinity, and you're listening to Essence Every Truth Radio. Sorry about the sound of my voice today. Nothing I could do about it. Anyway, I wanted to ask you something. Do you know or do you remember who Larry Silverstein is? I'll give you a second. It's been a while. Let's talk about it. So, Larry Silverstein just happened to be the guy that wound up getting a lease for the Twin Towers a couple of years, and I'm sorry, a couple of weeks before they came down. So I'm going to read a little bit of this, and I'll tell you at the end exactly why this is important. So it says here Larry Silverstein was involved with the World Trade Center, including the Twin Towers, prior to the destruction during the September 11th attack. He signed a lease for the complex just 6 weeks before the attack. After the tragic events, he became part of the legal battles and rebuilding efforts. However, Silverstein did not purchase the Twin Towers outright. Instead, he held a lease that allowed him to develop and manage the properties. The Twin Towers were ultimately collapsed during the attacks, and the rebuilding efforts led to the creation of the One World Trade Center and other structures in the area. G-Trend, why is that important? Because I wanted to find out exactly what it is that he's up to now. So, a really big part about the whole 9/11 thing was the conflicting information about the renovations that were done right before then, including some alleged video of people hanging out inside the towers while they were like rewiring and doing all this other stuff. So instead of just giving you, my thought on it, I'm going to actually tell you what it is that they were doing, the renovations that were being made. So, upgrading security systems. A major focus of the renovation included enhancing security measures, including the installation of new fire safety systems, updated elevators, and advanced communication systems. I don't know if you know this, but none of that shit worked. Work on the window and facades. The towers were undergoing refurbishments that included replacement of windows and upgrades to the exterior facade, asbestos removal, general maintenance and infrastructure upgrades. Um, let's see, mechanical systems, electrical and plumbing works. Fine. Again, Trinity. Who the hell cares? Why do I care? Our Bucky is at it again. Let's talk about it. Larry Silverstein recently secured a significant deal involving the U.S. Bank Tower in Los Angeles, California. Silverstein Properties finalized a 24,416 square foot lease with the law firm Wilson Elser, which will relocate its LA office to occupy the entire 31st floor of the tower. This relocation is part of a 10-year lease agreement and is expected to take place in the third quarter of 2026. The U.S. Bank Tower is noteworthy for its height, standing at 1,081 feet, and was originally purchased by Silverstein in 2020 for $460 million. Since then, it has undergone extensive renovations to enhance its amenities and appeal to high-profile tenants. Current occupants include major firms like KPMG and McKinsey and Company. The recent lease with Wilson Elser marks another successful step in revitalizing this landmark building in downtown LA. Same thing, two times. Now, back then we weren't really aware of whatever possibility of something happening the way that it did in September 11th. But they kind of been giving us a heads up here. So this is I'm going to just start prophesizing shit. So this is what I feel like might happen at this point with this new information, because this just happened. So if this turns around and it does it twice, because we seem to have the memory of goldfish, for those of you who absolutely remember that we had no idea, this wasn't in the news, we weren't talking about it, Bush wasn't outwardly fighting with everybody. There was like a lot of nonsense, but it wasn't out in the open. Then we have Cheeto. Cheeto literally is talking about new scum and how horrible he is. And now that he's stupid and he can't read, he hates all the Dems. So, about a week and a half ago, there were so called alerts that there was a possibility that some form of attack was going to happen in Cali. So everybody was like, I was panicking as shit because my daughter lives out there. And I was just like, I can't be having any of this. Looked into it. Nobody, I mean, some people were kind of talking about it, but they didn't really make a big thing. So a couple of days ago, they asked Caroline Levitt, hey, what's the deal? And she's like, oh, I don't know where they got that from. We never said that. What? Somebody made a what? So, okay, here's my point. If this is true, if this guy bought this place, if everything falls back into place and we're not paying attention again, and I don't mean like because we knew this back in 2001. I'm talking about the kind of shit that he's throwing out there right now. He's underwater, he's drowning. We knew there had to be some kind of an incident, and it like I could feel my heart sinking, thinking that we have a fucking orange dude and a bunch of people that love being on their knees and sucking them off that could do something like that out in the open, while at least a quarter of this country are still thinking that he's a hero. We are drowning, and he has almost zero options. First of all, the fact that I feel like I'm in the fucking upside down. The fact that this guy out of the club, I don't know if they're just using him as like a doppelganger for real estate nonsense. You know what I mean? Is he like the guy? He's like the hitman for buildings. I don't know, but this is fucking concerning. To me, this is concerning. This is concerning. So I said the third quarter, whatever the hell that means in business. I'm assuming maybe the last 3 or 4 months or whatever of the year. That gives us maybe enough time. I don't know. I just know that the deal is already done, that he already has a 10-year lease, that all the renovations, surprisingly, before any of those people move into the LA office, that all of the renovations had to be done before they got there. Does any of this like ring any type of bells? Ugh, this is so frustrating. Anyway, I love you guys. Keep your eyes out. Pay attention if you want. I'm going to try to do updates and put myself out in a halfway decent time. It's 5 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. And you can follow me Facebook, YouTube, Substack, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. And I'm trying to put my stuff out as much as I possibly can. This one, mark it. You hear me? If you can hear me and you can hear what I'm saying, mark that. This is something that we really have to keep an eye on. We cannot wait for them to tell us anything. We can't wait for the news to tell us anything. We don't have to wait for any of that. We need people on the inside that are paying attention. If you know anything about what I'm about and you've missed anything recently, I would suggest you go catch up. Go catch up on my page. Go catch up on my Substack. All of my stuff is there. I have been on point nonstop for about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. I'm going deep, diving into